Hey guys, we're going to do a new tense today. It's called the near future tense, and it's really easy because you're still using elements of the present tense and you're just adding a couple things onto it. This is one of my favorite tenses because mainly all year long we've been dealing with the present tense, and now we get to baby step our way out of it and talk about what we're fixing to do, the fixing to tense. What it entails is you're going to use the formula ir conjugated. So you're going to conjugate the verb ir, voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. You've learned that before. Add the letter a, and then you're going to add the infinitive. Remember, infinitive is the original form of a verb. So let me show you some examples. Using this formula, ir conjugated plus a plus infinitive. We want to say Nico is going to go to the game. What you're going to do is you're going to say Nico, and then you're going to conjugate the verb ir, and you're going to say va a ir al partido. The va is the is going, the a is the to, and then if you want to say to go, you could say the verb ir just left in the infinitive. Remember, infinitive is the original form of the verb. So that's all you have to do. Conjugate the verb ir, add a, and then add the original form of a verb at the end of it, 3 parts. Or let's say, for example, I want to say Ariana and I are going to the dance at the party. Are going to dance at the party. So you have to think, okay, we're talking about Ariana and I, so we're talking about we. Well, you conjugate the verb ir for nosotros, that would be vamos. Then step 2 is add the letter a, and then to say dance, if you remember how to dance is bailar, it'll look like this. Ariana y yo vamos a bailar en la fiesta. Here's another one. If I want to say, hey, you and Brianna are going to play volleyball. Well, now I'm talking to more than one person, so I'm saying y'all. If you want, you can use vosotros or use ustedes. So let's do for ustedes first. If I conjugate the verb ir for ustedes, it's going to be van. So what's the second part I have to add? The a. And then you have to do the verb to play. Leave play in the original form, jugar. So then it looks like this. Tú y Brianna van a jugar voleibol. Or you could say vais if you're using the vosotros, the Spain version. Make sure you always have all 3 parts. You know you're doing the near future tense correctly if you could count it down. So what I do sometimes when I was first learning it is I would do 1, 2, 3 in my little segment. So I'd put the va, I put a 1 on top of it. The I put a 2, and the above the verb, the infinitive, I'd put a 3. If you have all 3 parts, chances are you're doing it right. Most of the time, students forget the second part, the a. A lot of times they say va ir. You have to have all 3. So when you're first starting to do this, just put the numbers on top to see if you're doing it right. Vamos a bailar. We are going to dance. Va, ir conjugate is vamos. The a. And then you added the infinitive. The infinitive in this case is bailar. Same thing here. Van a jugar. Ir conjugated plus a plus infinitive. And it's so exciting because now we're not saying like you and Brianna play volleyball. Now we're saying you're going to play volleyball. Now you're talking about what you're about to do. So it's a little more exciting because we're talking about the near future. Let's compare the present tense with the near future tense. We've been dealing with the present tense all along. For example, when I say voy a la playa, that means I am going or I go to the beach. That's the present tense. We've been doing that all along. But now look at the difference between the formula ir plus a plus infinitive. This is I'm going to go to the beach. Do you see the difference? We got ir conjugated plus a plus the infinitive. That's the slight difference. One is present tense, one is the near future tense. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to provide a little practice for you guys so you can understand this. Here I have Esteban, and I want you to say like Esteban is going to study using this formula. This is my example. So if I say that, it would be Esteban va a estudiar. Va is the ir conjugated. I have my a, and then I have the verb estudiar just left in the infinitive. So what I recommend for you guys to do is go ahead, I'm going to pause this or take a screenshot, work these out, and then come back and hit play so I could give you the explanations for the answers. I'll give you a second to do that. Okay guys, I'm going to assume that you guys already did your practice on this. Now I'm going to explain the answers to you. So we're talking about Angelica. You conjugate the verb ir for Angelica, for she. So it's va a trabajar. Ir conjugated plus a plus infinitive. The conjugated form of yo, ir for yo is voy. Don't forget the a. And then jugar. Yo voy a jugar al voleibol, which means I'm going to play volleyball. If we're saying Stephen and a friend, we're talking about them, ellos. The conjugated form of ir for ellos is van. Don't forget your a, and then add jugar al fútbol. Now what you're saying is they're going to play soccer. Not that they are playing soccer. They're about to do it. Now you got the near future. Angelica, Mr. Rios, well, we're talking about them again. So they in Spanish is ellos. So how do we conjugate ir for they, ellos? If you said van, you're right. So van a. And now here we're saying ir de pesca. So we're saying they are going to go fishing. It's okay that we have ir in the infinitive there because we conjugated the first part. Leave the second one alone. Number 5, ir de compras means to go shopping. So we're talking about the Rioses. They're going to go shopping. So we're talking about they. Van a ir de compras. And finally, the last one, we said Angelica, Esteban, y yo. Anytime you slap yo on there, you're talking about we. So that's for nosotros. So the conjugated form of ir for nosotros is vamos. Don't forget the a, and then just throw ir on there. And that means Angelica, Stephen, and I, we are going to go to the theater. Vamos a ir al cine. There you guys go. I hope this helps you understand. Feel free to contact me with any questions, and this helps you understand how to do the near future tense with the formula ir plus a plus infinitive. Thanks a lot, guys.